Hello there and welcome. Well, it's 6 o'clock, so we are launching a brand new one-day special. Let me take you on a little journey. We're heading off the magical mill pond where you find all sorts of fabulous little characters and all sorts of adventures. You can see them with the creatures there going on their little adventures there, the ladybirds, the snails, the little fairies, and of course absolutely beautiful artwork to work alongside these. Now it's a phenomenal deal, as you can see on your screen, but not only are you going to get some amazing artwork, you're also going to get some fabulous dies to work alongside them. And I have the pleasure of presenting a brand new one-day special to you from Tattered Lace. And of course, because Tattered Lace is here, of course the lovely Corrine's here as well.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my darling.
It's the first time we've worked together. It's a bit exciting, isn't it?
It is, yes.
This is fantastic. You've got some brilliant deals here today. Really good.
And that's a really good point, because of course we've got the one-day special, which we know is going to be an amazing deal, but we've got lots of others, so I do suggest you jump ahead and have a little look on the website. This is a perfect opportunity for perhaps to introduce yourself to the Tattered Lace brand. They do it so well, those fabulous USBs, those absolutely incredible dies, and really kind of innovative ideas where they all work together to give you some absolutely amazing things over and over again. Now of course, if you want kind of your frames, you want your embellishments, we can help you with those as well. And of course we've got some fabulous pairings and bundles that are going to mean that you're going to save money along the way, which is something that we all love to do, isn't it? So of course, if you want to add anything into your basket, you can do. You can see add to your basket there if you're shopping online, and if you are shopping with us via our call centre, then don't worry, I will take you through as much as I possibly can for you to make those decisions. But of course, anything you need to know, do get in touch, studio@thecraftstore.com by all means, and I can answer hopefully any questions that you might have, and if I can't, I'm sure our Corrine can. Now this is a lovely, it's kind of like a delightful collection, I have to say, with this, Corrine, and absolutely beautiful. I mean, the dies, there's some big dies with this one, but of course you've got your USB, and that's kind of like the crux of it. That's the main element.
It is. So I've got my USB here, and I've got a few of the bits that I printed out for you to show you. So it's what you'd expect. It's a USB. Now, up in this top corner is the key element. Now, I don't know how many of you know Tattered Lace, but it just says here, it says My Craft Studio.
Okay.
Now, that is the key. Can I just tell you, if you were to buy My Craft Studio on its own, you'd be expecting to pay £25 for that, for the software. It is the most amazing software. It's so easy to use. I've done shows just on My Craft Studio to show you how easy it is to do. What you can do is it's a proper software package, so you can manipulate the images, you can change the sizes, you can change the colours, you can add opacity, you can drop one on top of the other. It's absolutely brilliant. So not only are you getting that software, but you're getting all the other elements. Now you're getting, I've got some of it here, you're getting something called Charisma. Now Charisma is the artwork that the dies fit on top of. So I've got our small friends here, and there's my die, and what happens is you lay the die over the top of the artwork, just like that, before you cut it out. It'll fit absolutely perfectly, and then when you cut it out, this is what you get. So I'm just going to turn it round so that you can see. It doesn't just cut the outline. Can you see? It's also cut all of that detail into the image. So that means that when I come to shape it, I can manipulate it. It's not going to crease and crack and break. So you're getting the artwork for the small friends, the Swan Voyage, and the snail trail as well. You're also getting sentiments. Now, if I remember rightly, it's about 50 sentiments, and these are what they look. This is just an example. Now, you can change the size of these. You can change, you know, the orientation on how you use them. You're also going to get backing papers. Now, look at these backing papers. Over 200 backing papers on this USB. Now, can I just say, print it out on the best quality paper. Oops, that one's upside down. Best quality paper that you have got, and then the image and the artwork is going to look fantastic. Look at that. Look at the detail. Now, if you don't want it as bold, change the opacity and make it a bit paler. You can also drop the sentiments on top of here before you print them out as well. Now, the bit that's going to clinch it for me, now I've only got one example here, but I'm going to show you more as we go. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
That is one of the scenes. Now, how many scenes we get?
28 of those scenes on there,
They're all different, but now you're going to say that's A4, too big. You can manipulate them with the software, make them smaller so that they fit the size of the dies. Isn't that amazing?
Beautiful.
Look at the light.
The details, incredible.
The detail, it's the way the light plays with it. That is just the USB. Then you're going to get, as we said, your 3 character dies, and this is a proper storytelling. So you've got your small friends, the little girl on the ladybird, or the little fairy. You've got your snail trail. These are good sized dies. They're not tiny dies.
I love the packaging of these.
Oops. These are well loved. These are well loved and well worn. Now, with Tattered Lace, I'm going back to basics here in case people haven't seen Tattered Lace before.
Okay.
With Tattered Lace, what you get is you get the detail die, but you also get the foundation die. Now, the foundation die is the die that cuts the matte layer that sits behind. It's about a 1.1mm border all the way around.
Okay.
And on my first demo, I'm going to show you why it's so important, how it gives you that separation. And when you're telling the story, you really, really want that. But the piece de resistance die in this collection has to be our bridge card. Now, I don't know what state it's going to be in. Oh, it's all right, because these are used. So you're going to get this lovely bridge, but you're not just getting 1 matte layer, you're getting 2 matte layers. So you can make card shapes with this and still have a die to create the foundation behind it. Absolutely beautiful. There we go. Look at
Gorgeous.
that. Excuse
so
the state. These are well loved. Yours will look like this too. But you know, absolutely perfect. You don't need any charisma for this. Think about it. Think of your craft cards. Think of your black and get your gilding waxes on. Think of your mirror cards. All those different ways to cut that out. Absolutely perfect.
I love it. And then it's what you do with them when you cut them out. That is the key thing. Here you can see this fabulous, it's almost literally a storyboard. It could be a scene from a little fairy tale book. Maybe it's something that you're going to be using to actually create your own little fairy tale stories. And you can see the backdrop enhancing those fabulous little characters, and of course that gorgeous majestic die coming across the centre there. But of course it's your collection. When you are working with this, you will use it in loads of different ways. You'll take the artwork from the USB. You can even go and find downloads as well from the website to actually get even more use out of these, and that's the key thing. Now let's talk about the detail of the dies. Well, you can see here the intricacy that you've got with this fine detail to perfection. That's something that Tattered Lace do so well. And of course you've got the ability to do kind of your inners, your outies, and of course if you're using that outside edge, you could be creating your card bases instantly with these, or use them to build up your designs. But then it's the characters as well. I mean, the characters have got such personality, and of course the beauty is your charisma will allow that you can actually cut these out to perfection. Obviously, if you start sizing things and moving them around and manipulating them, you have to bear in mind the dies need to be a certain size to work with them. But of course, you could be using them, incorporating them, building up a scene, and then making further of these to actually add to them. And of course, the die, as I mentioned before, using that die as your card base, adding on your little characters, as you can see, making it and turning it into an actual card. Look at that, how clever is that? And of course, that scenery just popping under the bridge there. And again, you can see here the characters, getting your inks involved. You can get very creative with these. It doesn't have to be cardstock that you're using in that particular colour, and it will work with other things that you've got from Tattered Lace as well and other collections. Absolutely beautiful, building up those scenes, giving you that absolute perfection time and time again. Now, the beauty of this one day special is it comes with 2 flexi buys, so of course you can spread the cost, and that means you can spread the cost of other things as well that can pop into your basket. So £29.98 will be your initial payment. If you are a Freedom member, that means this collection will be delivered to your door for that initial payment. Your second payment will be taken out in a month's time, but look at that saving. That saving is over 1/3 of the cost of the bundle as it's regular price, which, to be honest, £90.95 is a really good price for everything that you are getting in here, but not at the moment. It is a one-day special. You've got that incredible saving, bringing it down in price until tomorrow evening, 6 o'clock. That's when our one-day special prices go up. So you have until then when you can actually take advantage of those. 688-198. Please do not miss out on this one. Very, very busy already. Now, it's not the only item that we're sharing with you during this show, and I do urge you to jump onto the website, because with that flexi buy, there's so many other things you can add in. But let me introduce you to another beautiful collection. Now, this is a similar sort of scenario where you've got a USB stick, you've got those fabulous dies that are going to work alongside these. But this one is almost like we've got a second one-day special. I love this. So with this one, again, you've got that £50 saving. What a saving! My goodness, that's huge. You've got your flexi buys on this one, just £31.98, those 3 flexi buys. But on that first flexi buy, everything will be sent out to you, and my goodness, what a useful collection you've got. We're looking at fantasy florals, which of course florals work so well with so many different things, but the beauty is these are fantasy florals, so you don't have to follow those kind of uniformity colours, the colours of nature. You become the creator with these, and you have got so much in here. So much design capabilities with these, Corrine.
And do you know what? I think putting these two collections together works really well.
Definitely.
Because they're both going to tell the stories. Are you doing scrapbook pages? Are you doing a little storybook, making a storybook for a grandchild or something like that? You know, maybe you're a teacher and you want to do some scenes. I think it would look absolutely beautiful. But every one of these that I'm looking here is going to work so well with our previous collection,
Definitely.
our magical mill pond. So work them together. So you've got your florals, you've got your trees. That mushroom house is absolutely beautiful. So mushroom. I think it's so cute. And again, you've got the USB with most of the artwork on. Some of the artwork for this is available as a free download. It's probably still on the Create and Craft website, so you just pop over to there to get it. Some of the artwork is on there. You'll be able to tell because there's a little symbol on the front of your die packet. It'll show a USB if it's on the USB, and it'll show a downward facing arrow if you need to go to the website. So there's no confusion about it at all. Also, the Tattered Lace website has the charisma available for you as well on there.
One thing I've noticed when we're just looking at the dies, especially with the mushroom there, you've got kind of flourishes and swirls, and those are exactly the same shape and kind of flourish that you will find with other elements. So I noticed in the roof of the toadstool we were looking at, it's very similar to the one that we saw in the bridge. So
it
of
is,
course,
yep.
that connectivity.
They are, so that's a very, I don't want to say typical, but that's sort of this designs that you would expect to see with Tattered Lace. It's the design that they thread through
kind of like
a lot of their dies.
Yeah.
But that just means that you've got synergy between everything, and everything just works together, which I think is absolutely perfect. Now, the thing with the So Mushroom is you've got a book-making die in there as well. You can see the frame, you've got everything in there. So it really is giving you the opportunity to make perfect books and elements.
I love it. There you go. So if you fancy getting hold of that particular bundle, 3 flexi buys on that one. So again, if you're adding that one into your basket and you're adding other goodies in, you can spread the cost of those items as well. So certainly worth you having a little look at everything. But of course, the beauty is you can pop these into your basket, take advantage of these, checking out your basket all in one go. But of course, there's lots of changes going on here at the craft store, I'm sure you are aware, all for the good. And of course, it will make it nice and easy for you to kind of keep up to date with all the goings on. And this will explain a little more. So there you go. It saves us sending you a new home address, really, a card, doesn't it, really? So come with us on the 25th of February to become one, and we will have a fabulous channel. Loads of adventures going to be happening. So Freeview 85, many of you will be familiar with that because of the craft store, but of course you'll see us entitled a little differently when we get to the 25th. So, right, what are we up to then, Corrine?
Okay, so I think we should put together a project using the magical mill pond. So I've got my charisma here for my small friends die. Now, top tip, you get 6 of the images on a sheet of A4 when you print it out. I only put through my die cutting machine the image I'm actually die cutting, because every time you put it through, it flattens the cardstock. You also risk marking your cardstock. So I think it's much better just to do the one you're doing. Now, can you see how that die has fitted absolutely perfectly onto that image? You can see all the way around the outside. It's going to pick it up. There you go. Can you see? Perfect image there. Now, I've got this on a piece of Cut Tidy. Cut Tidy is a special magical, it's magic.
Okay.
It was designed to put your card and your dice, to put your card inside so that you could die cut through it, and it kept all the bits together.
Okay.
But we actually use it as a shim. And as a shim, it just... See, this one's not too bad because there's not a lot of detail. But if you were doing something like the bridge, you remember you picked out all that detail, the Cut Tidy just helps to get, or make sure that every single time, one pass of the die and it's worked. Now, look at that. I always like to turn mine over because if it looks like pencil marks on the back, then you know that you've got it just right. You know that every piece has cut perfectly. Look at that.
Fabulous.
Absolutely brilliant. Right, so let's move those out of the way. I'll pop this out. You get little release holes on the front, so I put my pokey tool through, and there we are. Now look at that. Now, you can see everything's lined up perfectly. Her facial features have lined up perfectly. The cuts on the folds of her dress have lined up perfectly. Everything just looks beautiful, and by having that shaping in there, that means I can add extra detail. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a lovely little card here, and I want to just show you how useful having that Minecraft Studio software is. So I have got some purple cardstock, so I picked purple cardstock just because it goes really well with the purple flowers in here. Now I've reduced this down in size, so it was a bit bigger but on A4, and I've reduced it down to make it in keeping with what I'm using, and I've printed it out 3 times, but each time I have reduced the opacity. So you can you see on there, look, can you see that's a bit stronger, yeah. That's a bit paler, and then here it's paler still. Can you see we're going through the 3 colourways. Now also up here I've taken one of the sentiments on the USB and I've dropped it on to my cardstock before I've cut it out. So that means that it will print, so I don't need to worry about stamping or anything like that. It's worked brilliantly. So let's glue these down as we go. So the first one I'm going to do is my purple. You'll find I do a lot of tentfold cards. I like a tentfold card. I think it comes from years and years of having to set up the displays. I find that if you do them as a side opening card, if you start to put a lot on the front, they can become a bit top heavy. And now my glue doesn't want to work. I should have.
Oh, bless you.
Oh, dear me. Been out in a cold car. There we go. Come on. There we go, once it's there. So I'm just using my Pin Flare bookbinding glue, which is absolutely perfect because it's got ever such a low water content, so it won't bubble or cockle my card at all. So I know, you know, it's not going to soak through and it's going to work gorgeous. So I'm going to put that one on first, then I'm going to put my darkest one on, and then we're going to go just put that on there, and then we can pop that on there. Now I've chosen to use a wet glue rather than a tape because I have quite a fine border, and I just find that if you don't get your border absolutely spot on, using a wet glue will give me that little bit longer to adjust. I like adjusting time.
It's like that wiggle room.
Yeah, the wiggle room. So you'll see on here I've used my dies to cut out my oval there and then the slightly bigger oval on that one. So before I stick these on, I want to sort of just do my placement. But can you see how by putting that like that, it's almost as if someone's put a light.
Yes.
That's the look we're going for. It's as if we've illuminated the forest just there.
I love it. Now we've popped the foundation dies at the bottom of the screen, so if you're wanting to replicate this, then you can do so with those dies at the bottom of the screen. You can add them in alongside your flexes, spread the cost, whether it's the one day special you're going for 2, or if you're going for that other bundle, you can spread them over 3 as well. So that's the beauty of having your one day special on that flexi order. So this is your one day special. If you wanted to go for this one, over 1/3 off the price there. That is a phenomenal deal. And you've got your 2 flexi buys, but just to warn you that almost 10% of the stock of the whole day stock has already gone, and we're not even 1/3 of the way into the show. My goodness, we are busy for this one.
Okay, so you remember I was talking about that foundation dye, and I want to show you why it's so important. So I have got my little boy here on the snail trail. Now I put him onto the card, and yes, he stands out, but I find that the colours sort of just blend and he doesn't stand out as much. Watch what happens if I then put that foundation dye behind. Can you see?
Oh,
he pops out.
Yeah.
It gives me that separation. So then I'm going to cut him again, but this time I've created my own decoupage just by trimming in, and I'm thinking which bits are furthest forward, and then I've created that. So I'm going to do exactly the same with my ladybird, but I'm actually, because she's quite strong colours, I'm not going to put her on a foundation layer, but then I'm going to work out. So when I look at this, her body and her skirt are furthest forward. She's tucked her legs back, and she's tucked the ladybird's tucked back. So we're going to create our decoupage by going through there now. Can you see? I only do little snips because it's held in with pips because we've got all those cut lines already. So it will actually just pop out There we go. So this is the bit I think is furthest forward, and we're going to put that onto there. So that looks lovely. Now, just look at what you've got in your collection and think about building up the scene. That's why I didn't stick this down. So I'm going to pop some extra little bits on here just to complete my storytelling, and I'm going to do it. You could even put in, let me show you, your bridge if I wanted to. We could even put the bridge in and trim that down. Oh, I need to bring that down a bit, don't I? Look, there we go. Can you see? You could bring it in.
Oh, isn't that lovely?
It's all about playing around. So how I do it is I cut everything out like this. I cut them all out, put them in little bags, and then I place them, and maybe I'll take one out, maybe I'll put another one in, and just play around with them until you get them just how you want. So let's put these flowers in.
I love that because it gives you the ability to kind of play around without actually committing to any of those styles. Don't forget the dies are going to help you alongside that USB stick. So of course the gorgeous artwork that you've seen, that's where you're going to get able to get hold of that. Beauty is that you can print that off over and over again, and not only is it your fabulous characters that you can print off there, but some beautiful backings as well. In fact, you've got hundreds of them. So the backings, you've got 246 of them. That's a lot of backgrounds, and don't forget you can manipulate those as well. The little scenes, you've got 28 of those, and again that's just as they are, but you can start playing around with them. Your pattern papers, you've got 152 of those, and again you can play around with the colours of those as well. And your digi stamps with your little characters as well, you've got 14 of those, so there's a lot there that you can be using. And of course if you're using them just as they are, then those dies will work alongside them. And then of course your fabulous personalisation with those sentiments that you can bring into my craft studio and build them up with your scenes to add your own scenes, your own personalisation, and to really kind of add that essence of that magical area that you're heading off to at the mill pond. Beautiful little characters, and of course you can use them time and time again. Multi-layers dies there, so of course if you're wanting to add that separation then you can do, but of course you become the crafter, you become the designer with these, and you are going to have so much fun in the process. It's your one-day special, the details are on your screen. That fabulous saving of £31 brings those flexi buys right the way down to 2 flexi buys of just £29.98. When you get these, Corrine, you must look at them and think, oh my goodness, I've kind of woken up in heaven here.
You have, haven't you? It's that magical element, isn't it? It's all about the fantasy, and they do it so well, telling that story, creating the fantasy. Now, if anybody has been a subscriber of the Tattered Lace magazine, because we're on to our I've just recorded the videos for issue 100, which is going to be very special.
Tattered Lace magazine, for anybody that's watching us that's not come across Tattered Lace, obviously the craft store, not the first time that we're working with Tattered Lace, but what's the magazine all about then?
Right, so the magazine, we do it as a subscription, and then you can often just sometimes you can pick them up as one-offs. It's a magazine we bring you every month, and in the magazine will be, it's about 48, 49 projects every month, but they will feature dies that you have seen quite recently. So I've just been recording the videos for issue 100, and we've got dies in there. That will come out on the 16th of March, and there's dies that we're releasing this week.
Ooh, okay.
Did you see the cornucopia?
Oh, yes,
It was done on Thursday or Friday here on the craft store. Now, there's quite a lot in there. So it's all about this 3 elements: inspiration, education and information. And the magazine is packed full of all of those to inspire you how to use your dies. It's a really good educational tool, because we know that once you get your dies at home, you'd watch us demonstrate them and you think, oh yeah, these are gorgeous. Then you get home and you think, what do I do with it now? And that's what the magazine is all about, is giving you that help and support, showing you lots of lovely ways to use your
and if you want to get involved with that, just hop over to the Create and Craft website, where you'll be able to learn more about that. And of course we're all kind of coming together towards the end of the month anyway, but for the time being that's where you'll need to pop over to find a little bit more information about that. How are you getting on over there?
I have just about finished. I'm just putting you'll probably notice, if I do a few shows with you, I do like a good bow. I do tend to put a bow on where I can. Now look at that. How beautiful is that? And all of those elements, oops, sliding on my mat, are from this collection. So we've got our small friend, our snail trail. It could quite easily have been our swan voyage we swapped in there, and you could have built it up with the bridge in the background. But all of those papers is one paper that I've just changed using the Minecraft Studio software, and I've dropped in the sentiment as well. So it's a perfect way to craft. But I think you'll be telling a story in your head when you're making these, because I know I do, you know, once you're building it up.
I can imagine crafting with these and giving them little voices.
Yeah.
All the little creatures having their own little voices.
These are the sorts of dies I would love to craft with my grandsons. They're three and a half. And they love finding my craft room and getting all of them out, and I can see them doing little stories with them and telling stories with them, and that's what they tend to do with these.
Corrine, thank you. What a fabulous demonstration. And of course, you've got your USB stick with your printable sheets, you've got your dies, you could be replicating that over and over again. But we've got other things that you might like to add in alongside your one-day special, because you've got your flexi buy, which means that you could add in your diamonds and pearls as well. It's not very often you can get diamonds and pearls for £78.94, is it? But you're going to get both of them. You're going to get 57 dies. My goodness, that is quite a collection there, as you can see. And these are going to be beautiful for you to use in so many different ways. You can see here you've got frames, you've got mats, you've got layers. So of course they're going to be fabulous foundation elements for you to work with, but then you've got a lot of detail, a lot of content in here. And of course you've got that fabulous storage that comes alongside the dies. I think this is such a clever design of packaging, I have to say. You can see with these, you've got obviously your illustration on the front of your packaging, so you know this is where you're going to be housing this particular collection of dies. But when you open it up, you've got your fabulous little wallet there, so of course you can keep everything together in there. Might be that you get yourself some little magnetic sheets and pop them in there, but what a wonderful way for you to remember all the different pieces that you need, and to make sure that you're kind of counting them out and counting them back in again. You can see you've got large dies in here for your mats, your fabulous layers built up, and then of course all your gorgeous embellishments, and that is just one of those dies that's in there. You start looking at all of the others in there and you'll realise just how much content that you've got, and it's usable content that you will use over and over again. Beautiful flowers, as you can see, with regards to these as well. And of course you can see those arrows, that downward pointing arrow, which of course we learnt from Corrine earlier on, means that you can jump across the website and actually download pages that will work alongside these as well. Again, these are very useful ones to have, I have to say, Corrine. I mean, there's some gorgeous designs with these finished samples.
We've just moved on to a different collection there. Those are images from the different collection. It's diamonds and pearls are just up there. We are. So you've got the 3 frames and the 3 sets of flowers. So that's absolutely gorgeous.
There's kind of this little section here.
Yeah, that's it. Those just there. Absolutely perfect. But aren't they absolutely gorgeous? And I just love the shapes of them. So you don't need too much for the actual frames. The frames will just cut on their own right, but it's when you come to those flowers, that's when you're really going to make those beautiful projects. And as you said, downward arrow means that the charisma is available on the website.
I love it. There you go. So diamonds and pearls, your collection of 57 dies coming to you over 2 flexi buys. So if you're wanting to get a hold of those, obviously on the website you'll be able to see them individually there, and of course there's loads of other different combinations of dies that you might want to add into your basket as well. And you can see those, we're looking at all the different die sets. They all work so brilliantly well together as well. That is beautiful. So here you've got a bumper bundle, as you can see there. So you can see, I think it's pretty much everything that we've got on the top shelf there. You've got your gorgeous ovals, you've got your squares in there, you've got those gorgeous flowers, absolute brilliant value for money. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets in there, giving you 57 dies in total. Absolutely beautiful. Love it. Then we've got some lovely character dies, and this is where I love the idea that we see from Tattered Lace. Quite often they'll come up with ideas, concepts, and this is such a clever one. Now we've got kind of pairings with these, so they're coming to you as a kind of 2 die sets. You've got your swans and your doves alongside each other, and these are really clever because what you've got within each of these packages are 2 dies, but the 2 dies kind of come together. So you can see there when you take your 2 swans, they're literally cuddling up together, as are the doves there. So they are absolutely beautiful. They're called Entwined Moments, and what you've got is you've got your dies in there, your 2 dies that you're going to be able to use and cut out, as you can see there, alongside each other, and then when you bring them together, They literally bring that artwork together. Again, that downward arrow that you can see there means if you're wanting the artwork that's featuring within the actual packaging, you'll be able to go off and find that and replicate these over and over again. And to be honest, the artwork is beautiful. So that is your first duo, your swan and your dove, which are beautiful. If you're wanting those, then obviously you can do. But as we work our way down, we've got other little duos as well. Of course, if you're going for your one-day special or any of the other bundles we've been talking about that are on FlexiBuy, then of course you can spread the cost of those when you're completing your Flexi order. But we're dipping our toe into the waters here. You can see you've got your fabulous little dancing dolphins there, and of course those gorgeous seahorses as well. And these are lovely. Again, you've got that duo coming together, and of course you've got the artwork on your download as well. Absolutely beautiful design. I love the little seahorses. They're having a proper little cuddle.
I don't think we represent seahorses enough, don't we? You know, you often see a die with, I don't know, a lion or a tiger or a dog or a cat. How often do we see seahorses? I think it's a really nice one to show. Just to show you, we're going to look at the giraffes in a minute, but just so that you can see how they work, what you do is you cut the two elements. So this was the swans here, and you can see you cut the two out, and they have a little lip at the back, and so then you put those over your card, and then when you put them together they link together so that they just interlink at the front, so that when you put your card together they come like that. So I'll just show you with my giraffe. I put a little gap in between the two, but you can just see using the coloured artwork they just come together.
Aren't they gorgeous?
They are.
And it's lovely because some of them are kind of like a couple, so perhaps a love of that particular style between a couple, and then some of them are kind of generations, so you can see
family. It's all about family, isn't it?
So of course with the giraffe there you kind of got your larger and your smaller. It could be mother and daughter, son and father, or whichever way you want to work with those. It could be just, as you say, they're generations coming together. Absolutely beautiful. And of course the download on the packaging there means you can go off and get the artwork for these. Another little duo, as you can see now, this die comes alongside the giraffe, so the elephant, and I love this, the way their little trunks are cuddling together. They almost look like they've got little smiles on their faces as well. Adorable. 338637. So we've got three different pairings of those. You've got your elephant and your giraffe, you've got your swan and your dove, and then of course you've got your dolphin and your seahorses. All of them laid out there. Absolutely beautiful, each and every one of them. So 338637 if you're wanting your giraffe and elephant, and of course jump onto the website or speak to our call operators if you're wanting any of the others. So what have we got for you that we can add to our baskets? Well, I love this one. That is a staircase that you'd just love to come down there in a big fancy frock, wouldn't you? £19.99, absolutely beautiful. A brilliant die set, and again it's one that you might want to add in alongside the kind of your flexi buys for other bits and pieces. £19.99, 145052 if you're liking the look of that one. And then alongside that one we've got a fabulous set of frames. These are really, really pretty, and I love this because you've kind of got the mats and layers with these, so you could have your solid colour behind and maybe your mirror card or whatever you like in front of them. And of course the beauty is as well, you're going to have that inner area that's going to cut away too. So £19.99, 498734. And then we've just got another little set of dies to share with you on our middle shelf here. Where shall we start? Let's start with the fabulous rectangles, and this is a beautiful one because you've got your gorgeous floral content with this one as well. So your Hyaline Hope, what a fabulous phrase. Gorgeous flourishes of little embellishments there, and you can see when you put them together how incredible these look. My goodness, the detail, phenomenal. 200517 if you're wanting to get hold of those. So alongside this particular one, we've also got another set to share with you, and this is fabulous. My goodness, how do you say this? Diaphanous beauty. My goodness, I never even knew there was such a word.
I think there's somebody up at the Tattered Lace office that likes to name dies without actually thinking about how we say them.
I think they know exactly what we've got to do. They know exactly what we've got to do. But this is a beautiful die set. Again, a classic look. This is timeless, ageless. You'll be using these particular dies in many, many years to come, and they will look just as beautiful as now. And of course, the gorgeous thing is you can download and print off some fabulous artwork to work with them as well. 503746 if you're wanting to add this one into your basket. And then we've got a Crystalline Grace. Isn't that a lovely, lovely photo? I love an oval, I must admit. One of my favourite shapes when you're adding embellishment, because it's just got one of those looks that can work portrait or landscape beautifully. And of course it works with your rectangle cards to perfection. Again, beautiful designs with a lot of fabulous intricate detail. And you've been loving this particular one as well. Almost 20% of the stock of this one has gone, and that's the first chance that we've had to show you. So 449 517 if you fancy getting hold of those. So you can see we've got a wonderful selection. There's lots of other things though. We haven't had room to lay everything out, so let me tempt you with a few other bits and pieces. These are so useful. We were talking about the foundation dies earlier on. Well, with this one you've got your foundation nested diamonds. 30 dies in this one, giving you a whole host of different sizes that nest beautifully together, but of course you can use them alongside each other as well if you want. Just £16.99. You've got £13 saving there. That's a whopping great saving. I like savings like that. Have we got any more? Oh, hexagons. Now, these are nice because, of course, they tessellate beautifully. You can create almost patchwork designs with these ones. And at £16.99, phenomenal prices. Well, 30 dies again in there. My goodness, £13 saving. 959 421 if you're wanting to get hold of those. Love that. But, of course, you can add any of those goodies that we've been tempting you with, or any others that are on the website alongside your one-day special, and spread the cost of those as well. Details of the one-day special are up on your screen, and of course it's that gorgeous magical mill pond that's giving you all of that essence of adventure for the little creatures, the little children. As you can see there, the little fairies, and of course you've got those dies to support those scenes with things like that beautiful gorgeous little bridge, as you can see there, with your multiple dies in there. Your character dies, which of course are going to work alongside the charisma that you are finding on the USB stick that is included within this bundle as well. What a phenomenal price. It's your one-day special, and the item number that you need to get hold of it is 688198. As simple as that. Pop it into your basket, check your basket out, and of course those goodies could be on their way to you for that first flexi buy if that's the way that you choose to shop. But of course you can go for it all in one go if you prefer to. I just love the artwork of these. I mean, Corrine, they look amazing.
We have a very, very talented artist up at Tattered Lace who does all the artwork, and they create some beautiful things. It used to be, years gone by, that we used to create the dies, and then they were given to an artist to put the artwork in, but we now do it the other way round. The artwork is created first, and then we build the dies afterwards, and that's just meant that we've been able to take that artwork up a level.
Yes,
we can, you know, the images, the charisma is just absolutely second to none, because the artwork's done first, which is the harder bit, and then we create the die afterwards to match up with the artwork, so it just looks beautiful. Okay, so shall we have a look at our bridge card, and I'll show you how you can make it into a card if you want. Now, I've just got white card here, so you have to imagine lots of different colours. But what I'm going to do first is I've got a piece of A4 card, and I've just folded it in half. So I've got it 10 fold. If you've got some really long cards, you could go the other way. Now, I've got 3 dies, so I could start with the largest die first, this one with a little snippet on there. But what I'm just not going to do a mat and layer, so I'm just going to pop it on with the second die. I had a piece of tape a second ago and I put it down. I don't know what I did with that. Right. So what I need to do is I lay this over, so it folds at the top, and I lay it over so that the die hangs over the top. So can you see there's a bit here? So I'm going to try and match it up. There we go. And we can take that like that. Now, what this is going to do is it's not going to cut it out quite fully. So I'll put that on there. I've not bothered with my cut tidy on here because it's not an intricate die. And then we can just put these on. You have to excuse me, I'm not used to this die cutting machine, but quite straightforward. A die cutting machine's a die cutting machine, isn't it? So we can run that through. Pop that through there. There we go.
Do you need an A4 cutting machine to actually work with these, Corrine? Or can you do it with a smaller?
Yes, I'm saying yes, definitely, because this one here, if I show you, if that piece of cardstock was A5 before, and this die here just hung over the edges.
Right.
So if you did that, that's the only die that wouldn't go through an A5 cutting machine. All of the other dies would.
Okay.
But just that largest mat. Now, when I look at that, that is only part of my bridge. I've just got the bit missing off the top. So what I would do is I'd get another piece of cardstock and I would run this through, oops, one more time. I can reuse that tape, and I can pop this through here. So you always need to do cut it again, but this is just on a single piece of card this time.
What sort of weight of cardstock should we be using, Corrine?
I would be always thinking in excess of 200 GSM, because we're going to put another piece on in a minute. So already the front of our card has now gone to over 400 GSM.
That's a good point.
Because you've got the 2 layers.
I love it.
So,
now, obviously, if you're printing, you're going to need fabulous quality. That's why the Super Smooth is such a brilliant one to work with. Obviously, be mindful of the way that your printer works. Sometimes you have your kind of reservoir of paper underneath. Sometimes it's stored at the back. So just be aware of that sometimes the heavier GSMs, just kind of do a bit of a test run with regards to them. And if you can't use them through your printer, then they're going to be absolutely beautiful to use with things like your stamps and dies as well. 100 sheets there, 240 GSM in this particular pack, £14.99. But we've got a whole host of different combinations of those, so do check them out. And as I say there, just be mindful and play around with them. There's loads of other essentials as well there. Things like your tape pens, your foam as well, that's all on there as well. And these are all things that you can add in alongside your one-day special and spread the cost of them as well.
Okay, so now I'll show you that in a minute, but I'll get this one through. So then I've got my detail die, and this is when I definitely want to use my cut tidy. So my cut tidy is just underneath. So all it's doing is it's adding an extra little shim. How I think of it is it works a bit like an embossing mat, as it pushes the cardstock deeper into the die. So that means then you're going to get the perfect cut, because it's really sort of pushed it in. I'm not used to sitting down. I normally stand up. It feels a strange angle to be cutting. Right, that's going to ping, I think, because that's quite...
We don't want it shooting off.
There we go, right. I can see straight away that has cut absolutely beautifully.
Wow, look at that just falling out.
It just falls out. And the cut tidy really, really helps with that. So I can pop that out. Look at that. I haven't had to poke a single piece out.
Beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful? So what you would then be doing, there we go, you can see just there, look, absolutely gorgeous. So just imagine if you'd done this in different coloured cardstock, because I did have one, didn't I, in brown. But what I would be doing now is, what you need to do is you've got your one with a bit missing off the top. So then we can then put our solid one over. And again, always glue on the base, because you don't want the glue to go in the wrong place. Now, if I glued it onto here, I could end up gluing too high.
Ah, yes.
You know, so
good
it would.
Tip.
Yeah, always glue the base, because then you know it's in the right place to hold. You know, especially if you're doing things like foam tapes and things like that,
yes, of
where
course.
It's hard to get. You know, with a wet glue. Just a minute, I'm struggling there on that mat. There we go. Left it up. That makes it much easier. With a wet glue, I can wipe off any excess, but with a foam tape or something, it's harder. So there we go. So there is my card base now. So
Lovely.
Any die you own, whoops, let's move that out of the way, can suddenly become a card base. So by putting that extra one on, we've re-established the detail at the top. Let's see if I can find, right, so just to show you, that was the one I just cut in white.
Okay.
But that was the one I already had previously.
Oh, that's
you could
nice.
then pop that onto there. And then that's when you then start thinking about bringing in your little characters. So are you going to just put that, let me see, I've got some of the swans here. Would you then be having one of the swans, let me see, there we are, I've got one here. You could then be having the swan coming out from underneath the bridge, couldn't you?
Oh, yes.
Or you could also, this is what it's about, it's all about telling that story. Maybe you're going to have the little ladybird coming over the top of the bridge. So straight away, we're starting to tell a story. We've got the ladybird at the top, we've got the swan. Can you see, we've already done that. Put it on top of one of those lovely, lovely backgrounds, and you're starting to tell your story. And that is what is so much fun with these. Oops,
I love it. It's an amazing one-day special. Absolutely beautiful. The dies are perfect to work alongside the USB stick. And of course, the beauty is you're making your own little stories up as you go. Could be that you're making your fabulous little cards and building up a scene, because of course there's lots of scenes on that USB stick that you could be using. And then your character dies and those printable sheets there are adding the content, adding the interest to these as you go. And again, that little character, that little lad there on his snail, the little snail trail die, allowing you to cut out, and then of course you can snip into it and give you some of those kind of decoupage layers that so many of us love to do. But of course the beauty is you've got those outline dies as well, which mean if you are wanting to create things like your little shaped cards, which I think this is a lovely idea, then you can actually follow the outline there and build up and make your cards. As we saw with the bridge earlier on, it's a perfect one for you to do so. But on this one, the little easel card with that foundation die that's going to sit behind your little character, you can see absolute perfection. It's a brilliant one-day special. It's a phenomenal deal. And nearly 20% of the stock has gone of this one. And it's a brilliant collection of dies and a USB stick that work together. So the USB stick has got all of your artwork on there. It's got your background papers, your scenes, your backing papers, all your sentiments. You've got 50 sentiments in there. You've got your character sheets there as well. And of course the beauty is that you've actually got installed within that software Minecraft Studio. Minecraft Studio you're probably paying around £25 for in its own right, but you're getting that included within that USB stick, and that's going to give you the ability to kind of work with that artwork. It's kind of like a graphics program in there. Now sometimes when you say graphics program, people are like, oh, but I haven't been to art school, I don't know how to work with a graphics program. It is so simple and easy to work with, but you'll literally be able to take the artwork in and play around with it, give it different colour tones, turn it sepia, turn it monochromatic, give it some beautiful details that you have decided on because you're manipulating it. But of course the designs that you've got in there, if you're printing them off in the sizes that they come, then of course you can just line them up with those dies and away you go. That is the beauty of these. Of course some of these will reference the USB stick, so when you're actually looking at the packaging from Tattered Lace, you'll be able to see that the USB stick is sometimes referenced on the packaging, sometimes it's an arrow. So whichever you've got, it's kind of giving you the kind of almost like a signpost as to where you can go to get those printable sheets. So the one-day special, obviously the USB stick is the first place to go because it's all contained on there, the magical mill pond with your bridge, with your characters in there as well, and it's just a beautiful collection. But those backgrounds, you'll be using those, I am sure, with other things that you've got within your stash as well. You won't just be using them with these characters because they're absolutely beautiful. So if you're wanting your one-day special, 2 flexi buys on your screen, as you can see, £29.98. But we've got another bundle which is kind of almost like a second one-day special. This one's got a huge saving. This time we're looking at £51 saving with this one. It's £50, I do apologise. Massive saving on this one, bringing the price down to £95.95. Now on this occasion you can spread the cost over 3 payments, and again it is jam-packed full of all sorts of fabulous little content here that of course will work alongside the last set with the one-day special we're speaking of. There are connective factors, which mean when you are working with Tattered Lace range, you will find there's connectives that will work backwards and forwards, so things that are coming out in the future and things that you may already have in your collection. Again, you've got your USB stick there, a bountiful supply of fabulous pages that you're going to be able to print off over and over again. And the beauty of this set is you've got your bases there for your cards, as you can see, with those gorgeous frames featuring in there as well. So if you like the look of this one, 158927. Now of course we've been mentioning the USB stick and been mentioning Charisma, but if you've just joined us you might be wondering, what on earth is that Hayley on about? Well, I get that a lot, I'm not going to lie. But on this occasion, I've got the perfect person to explain to you. Corrine, explain to us about Charisma.
So, Charisma is the artwork that comes with this collection. And the Charisma for all 3 dies that require it, the Swan Voyage, the Snail Trail, and the Small Friends, is all available on the USB. So you haven't got to go off looking elsewhere for it, it's going to be there for you. Now, one thing we haven't mentioned is when you come to print it off, you must print it off at, depending on your printer, 100% or actual size. Now, my printer defaults to 97%. You think, oh, 3%. That's fine maybe for your image at the top, you can just about get away with it, but by the time you get to the image at the bottom, it's run off and your dies won't fit.
Right.
It really does make a difference. So many people say to me, I can't get the Charisma to fit the dies. You just have to go in and find in your settings. So when I do mine, I just click on my other settings on my print options and I click the button actual size, and then it defaults to 100%. If you default to 100%, your die will then fit perfect. Ooh, that's not a very good fit, is it? I'm doing it from behind. Let me just put that onto there. The dye then fits absolutely perfect over the top. I'm just going to put that on there and show you. There you go. And then it will cut out brilliantly and give you that perfect image. So that's good to work with your small friends. It's also going to work with your snail trail, and it's also going to work with your swan voyage as well. So they all work perfectly with the charisma.
You don't get that white edge, do you?
You don't, not at all. They do give you a little bit of a bleed. So if you look at this one here, this has got a black edging round, but can you just see, it's not, it's really strange, because when you get the artwork and you look at it, sometimes, I'll show you on another one. This is out of that Fantasy Florals. This one really shows you. Can you see the whole image looks a little bit blurry?
Yes.
That's because we put a bleed in, and a bleed is a proper printing technique. It's a technique that means that the ink overruns.
Okay.
The minute you cut it with your dye, it's ever so strange to look at, because you think, I've just cut something that was blurry, cut it out and it just clicks. It turns it, and it will be absolutely pristine. You won't see that blur or that bleed once you cut it out. It's very clever.
And some gorgeous colours there. But again, of course, you know when you're working with your printer, then you can kind of change out that settings, do it grayscale.
359 colour hues within Minecraft Studio.
Wow.
So you can go from, you know, anywhere from your yellows, your blues, your pinks. Never change the size. You know, we were talking about changing sizes. Yes. Never change the size of Charisma. I heard you saying that a few minutes ago, because obviously your dyes won't fit. But you can change the colour hues. There's no reason why you can't change the colours. Just don't change the Charisma, the size.
I love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So there you go. Of course, with that USB stick, don't be frightened of your USB sticks, because they are going to be a very useful tool for you to have. Talking about useful tools, we've got lots of other things that you can certainly be adding in alongside your one-day special that are incredibly useful to have in your craft room. Here you go. You've got a fabulous set here of these wonderful little string lights. Now, these are really, really pretty to work with. You're going to get 2 where you've got 5 lights on there, and you're going to get 2 where you've got 10 LED lights on there. They're only $14.99, and of course these are brilliant if you are doing little projects where you're building up those scenes, because you can kind of backlight those fabulous little scenes that you create and have loads of fun. 877-945 if you're liking the look of those.
And you get the batteries included as well.
You do indeed, yeah, batteries included. Then of course you've got your shaker foam tape, 12 rolls here for just £14.99. Brilliant depth with regards to these as well. You've got 2 different depths with these. You probably notice you've got your kind of blue and your green there attached to those. So you're going to get your 2mm and your 3mm. I think it's about half of each of those. So 6 of your 3 and 6 of your 2. £14.99, 177805. So what else can I tempt you with? Well, this is something you're definitely going to want to add into your basket, because it's just such a useful thing to have. It's a bug off deal. Buy one, get one free. And with this, you're just paying £9.99, and you are getting 12 of those fabulous tape runners there. And they've got around 10 metres on each one of those. Incredibly useful to have. And of course, you've got your little caps on there to protect the head of those as you go. 957709. Those are useful things that if you want to keep a note of the item number, you can revisit those time and time again. But of course, we bring you deals. We bring you some phenomenal deals. And this is another show where you're going to get some of those wonderful deals. So we are looking at your Diamonds and Pearls collection. Now, with your Diamonds and Pearls collections, you're getting 6 die sets, and within the die sets, you've got 57 dies, all coming together with a phenomenal saving, a £50 saving. This one brings them down to £78.94. But as you can see, the dies, you've got all of these gorgeous dies, all of this content, not only to give you gorgeous pieces like the little flowers that you can see, but also your bases, your card bases, your frames, your accents, your embellishments, all coming together. Now with these, you may well have noticed you've got little arrows featuring on these. We've been talking about USB sticks, giving you the charisma, giving you the opportunity to die cut all those elements, but sometimes there isn't a USB stick, there is a download. So when you look at the packaging from Tattered Lace, you'll notice there's a little kind of arrow, downward pointing arrow, and the reference point for your artwork is via the Create and Craft website, so you can hop over to there and you can download those free of charge. So what that's doing is giving you the artwork that's going to line up with these dies, as Corrine just explained a few moments ago. But then of course you can take them into your Minecraft Studio. If you've gone for things like your one day special and you've got that, you can enhance them, you can change the colours and print them off over and over again. It really is a clever combination of gorgeous artwork alongside some fabulous dies. Got some lovely finished samples to share with you here as well. Now I've just got to make sure that I get them the right way around, and I think I have. I think I have. Yeah, I think I have. So you're going to get obviously your different layers which build up together.
Oh, those are for the next shelf down.
Oh, are they? So
yeah.
Which,
we don't have any finished samples for that one.
Is it across from the left?
Yeah,
I know you put
they're
these
all
into
from the
order.
next shelf down, yeah.
So this one here is
for the next shelf down. Sorry, there's none for this diamonds and pearls.
There's none for this particular one. Oh, I see. I'm looking at I'm thinking, I'm looking at the honeycomb and I'm looking for honeycomb down here. In that case, I'll just gracefully pop them back down again. Okay, so if you wanted to get hold of these, you've got a £50 saving and you've got your ability to spread the cost. As you can see, they're £39.47. But let's talk about those duos. I mean, Corrine explained this, and I think it's just such a beautiful concept. Those little characters coming together, giving each other a little cuddle, nuzzling up really, really sweetly. On this occasion, you've got your swans alongside your doves. And again, with regards to these, you can get your charisma by visiting the website and downloading these. It's a really clever little concept.
It is. I think this one's perfect for Valentine's, isn't it?
Yes.
Both of those, the doves and the swans. But also they're going to be for wedding cards, anniversary cards. This one has a real love feel. You can almost see that heart, can't you, with the two swans' heads?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then there's a heart look in the branch behind the doves.
Oh, of course, yes.
Yeah, isn't that clever? You know, you sort of, when you look, you suddenly start to pick out more detail. But like you say, the artwork really, really makes it pop. They're beautiful die sets. Put them together. You can also cut them out if you want to just put them within a frame. Okay. They work either way. It's up to you.
Clever combination. You can see them there utilised on the kind of the wings of a gatefold card, which is absolutely perfect. So that is your first duo set, your swans with your doves, but we've got a different item number for a different combination. This time we're dipping our toes in the water and we've got your little dolphins there as well as your little seahorses. Again, we were looking at love with the kind of the romance theme of the last two. With these, I think it's almost like a family love that you've got here.
It is, isn't it? You've got the small dolphin and the larger dolphin, and the same with the seahorses. I like putting these and almost creating depth and dimension, putting the dolphin behind the seahorses and bring the seahorses further forward. Because again, it's all about that storytelling, and you can do it so well with these.
I love it. And then the last pairing that we've got, again, a lovely combination, and you are loving these ones, so much so that nearly a quarter of the stock has gone. This time you've got your elephant and your giraffe, and these are just so cute. I mean, the artwork is gorgeous, but if you're thinking to yourself, there's no way I'm going to be able to replicate that, well, you don't have to. You can see that little download icon that you've got in your packaging. Again, shoot off to the website, you can download those and use them over and over again. And when we're working with the artwork, Corrine, I'm guessing that we're okay to make and sell with these.
You can make and sell as much as you like. Tattered Lace have a full open angel policy.
I love
so
that.
you can make, you can sell, you can cut out the die cut, you can make up kit bags, you can make them for craft clubs, you can sell your kit bags. It's entirely up to you. It's so generous.
I love it, and of course those animal ones, perfect for fundraising for animal charities as well. Well, I have to say, Corrine, I've had a fabulous time.
Thank you, so have I.
It's been lovely working with you.
Thank you.
The good thing is I get to work with you again tomorrow at 4 o'clock, which will be your last hour. So kind of topping and tailing.
Yeah, we'll see how much is left.
Back again tonight, 8 o'clock with Richard.
I am, yes, 8 o'clock tonight, yes.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
So thank you in the meantime. Now, of course, if you've gone for anything during this show, especially the one-day special, it's good that you've got in nice and early, but make sure you are checking those baskets out. Of course, it's a deal that's designed to run through a whole 24-hour period. Doesn't always last that long, though. Talking about not lasting long,